AEW Beach Break last night proved one huge thing to be true in the world of pro wrestling, and it set up what could be the biggest pro wrestling match in years. Welcome back, everybody, to Screw Script. I'm your host, as always, Maverick. Thanks for joining me on this Thursday drop. Beach Break was last night, and boy, oh boy, was it really good. It had everything. It had the set. The unique set was great, and we saw it utilized right away in the opening match. The crowd was phenomenal. The venue itself was beautiful. It looked great, especially when the sun was slowly going down. And then by the main event, it was pitch black outside. The lights were down on MJF and Kenny Omega. And we witnessed a match of the year candidate in the main event. Right up there is the cage match ratings at the time of this recording. A 9.13. It's got to be one of the highest rated Dynamites in a long time. It should be up there with probably the top 10 highest rated Dynamites in the history of AEW. It was that damn good. It had no reason being that good, feeling like a free pay-per-view on television. But I want to address something that Tony Khan said in a recent interview. Right up there's the full screen grab of it. But essentially, he goes on to say that they're delivering at the highest level. It's great having these championship fights. When AEW's at our very best, you can tune in and see the top stars fighting each other in huge matches and big rivalries. Having all these great championship fights on Dynamite and Collision, and having the very best pay-per-views, our fans are having their cake and eating it too. You get the very best on TV and a great wrestling product for the fans who can't necessarily afford the pay-per-views. So essentially, he goes on basically saying that for the people who cannot afford pay-per-views, he is still putting on pay-per-view level matches. And man, did Beach Break have a damn good one in that main event, which we'll get to in a few minutes. There's a card up there that we had. Again, MJF and Omega. You had Takeshita and Fletcher in a great title match as well. The women's casino gauntlet match was a lot of fun. Jericho and Ciampa opened up. Ospreay teamed up with Mox against the Workhorsemen. And then we had Mick Foley show up. All in all, it was a fantastic episode. We had a lengthy Kenny Omega speech promo early in the show. And it really made me feel like he wasn't going to win last night. And then, like I mentioned moments ago, the opening match between Ciampa and Jericho utilized the set beautifully. They were fighting at the top of the stage in the sand with all that stuff right away, and they went to war. I was not expecting this great of a match from Chris Jericho at his age, and honestly, him being back this time around has gone over so much better than that learning tree bullshit that he had going on before he took a hiatus for a while. This is much better. He is putting over the talent. He put over Ricochet. Now he put over Ciampa. Ciampa picked up the win. I got that prediction right. I think it's perfect because Ciampa now looks like a more threatening heel, beating down AEW's first ever inaugural AEW champion in Jericho. Great match there. Then we had Takeshita and Fletcher. And holy shit, title change. I was not expecting Takeshita to drop it so soon. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if they have new plans for him. Maybe he's going up top to the world title picture. Who knows? But Fletcher is just such a damn good wrestler in the ring. These two were in unison the entire match. Flawless match. Near perfect. He ends up winning with the brainbuster on the top turnbuckle. Nasty spot there. It was almost my Maverick moment, but I'm saving that for something later. Fletcher wins. He is the new international champion. And then we had the Don Callis family celebrate with him. He cut a good promo. And then Mick Foley comes out. And this was kind of weird. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Mick Foley being a special interviewer. I thought he was supposed to cut a promo. So afterwards, when this happened, I was like, whoa, what was he supposed to say? I realized he was just interviewing Kyle Fletcher. He had a funny one-liner against against Callis with his two shoes with one dog. The dog that is still with us, saying that he would basically kick him up the ass with that shoe. That was funny and all. But a little strange segment, but I'm not going to knock them at all. Then they had the fun, I believe the next match was the women's casino gauntlet. I could be wrong. It was either that or the tag. I guess we'll do the tag quick. Ospreay and Moxley, they are so damn good together. And it really makes me wonder is Ospreay going to win at All In, or is he going to come up short and then maybe these two team to be tag champs together as he tries to find his way back to the top if he doesn't successfully win at Wembley? They pick up the win there. Casino Gauntlet. Only one thing to be said. Willow is back. She wins the Women's Casino Gauntlet. She's got the title shot against Tekla at Redemption. That should be one of the best matches of the night. That was a really fun match last night as well, that gauntlet. And then the main event, match of the night and match of the year contender for sure. It's on my list immediately after it ended. We saw another title change. Kenny Omega beating MJF. This match had everything. It had the spots. It utilized, again, the creative stage. Omega hit a moonsault, I believe it was, or something like that, off the top of that giant-ass lifeguard chair. And then it had my Maverick moment right here.
Dangerous territory for both men. Watch out! Go!
Insane. That table broke perfectly as MJF was planted onto it and collapsed through it from that V-trigger. But yeah, Kenny Omega ends up beating MJF. What do we have for MJF leading up to All In? I know he has a really swollen knee. He talked about it. Here's a little screen grab about that actually on a podcast recently, saying that his knee is swollen to shit. He's done everything that he can do, ice baths, all kinds of stuff to keep it at bay with the pain, but he's got to take a little bit of time off. So maybe he skips Redemption, or at least just takes a couple of weeks off at the very least. But I think he should be utilized for All In and Wembley. Maybe he has a match against Andrade, or if he only does take a week or two off, he could have a rematch at Redemption. Yesterday before the show, I posted what what my prediction was of the night, and I was half right. I had Kenny Omega winning, but I had Hangman Adam Page returning to cost it for MJF. Now that could still happen, and that could become a match for All In at Wembley. How it could happen? Well, MJF could get an immediate rematch at Redemption, hence why it's called Redemption. And then Hangman returns and he screws over MJF, and then he continues to screw over MJF basically in every match until MJF accepts a clause at Wembley in a match where if he loses MJF, he retires from AEW. If he beats him, he can be reinstated to be an AEW champion challenger for the belt. I think that would be a brilliant long-term storyline between these two, and it would utilize him. But if not, maybe he gets in a feud with Andrade leading up to that, although Andrade feels like he's going to feud with the Don Callis family and have a match, maybe against Fletcher. Maybe he'll have an international title match against Fletcher at All In. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on this show. Other news, we saw that the Big Show, Paul White, had a segment before it went live. He helped out Sting's son, and if you remember, he and Sting way back when were a tag team together, so it made sense that he came out to help Stephen Borden in that. And then we also saw some good news for Jack Perry. He officially re-signed. We saw a segment with Jack Perry putting pen to paper, officially re-signing with AEW. Great for AEW to keep him, and let's just hope that they also keep Anna Jay. There's only one other thing for pro wrestling that I want to talk about before we get to my DDT, and that's Avery Styles, son of the legendary AJ Styles. He's set to make his GCW debut on July 31st, last day of the month. I'm excited. I'm going to try and watch that. I would love to see GCW partnered with my AEW, and I would like to see Avery Styles in AEW in the future. Let me know what you think about that down below. So yeah, all in all, Beach Break, monumental success. And going back to what I claimed at the beginning, AEW does weekly shows the best. They put on pay-per-view shows for free. I also have a huge thing to tell you guys before we get to the DDT segment. Again, I am moving here 8 days away. Once I am done and settled in, I'm going to have a new setup. So look out for that. Probably towards the end of July, I'll have a new setup. And it's going to look completely different. I won't be sharing a desk anymore. So I'm excited to present that to you guys. And hopefully sometime soon, maybe for All In, I'm potentially going to do a live video finally. I know a lot of you have been asking me to do live videos. I'll get there at some point. It's just tough to find the time and the space, rather, when you have 3 kids and some pets. Now, let's get on to this video's DDT. DDT! I have two of them for you. Let's get to the first one right away. Unpaid Critic. It's a fan account. He goes on to say, this is like Jeff Jarrett winning TNA world title today. After Kenny Omega won the AEW title, and holy shit, could you not be more wrong. First off, Kenny Omega is a lot younger than Jeff Jarrett. Secondly, he's, 6 or so years younger than the guy who just won the title, CM Punk, over in WWE. So for those reasons, you are the first half of this video's DDT, but I got a whopper of a second one for you guys. Here you go. It's none other than that clown from New York. He went on a rant about MJF. Well, it looks like MJF, who deserved to walk into the biggest show of the year with the biggest prize, is not happening because of this weird fetish AEW has with Omega and Ospreay in the main event at All In. Taking the belt off him for Darby now looks even more stupid. Kenny Omega takes the title from MJF. And one of the worst creative decisions of the year, 2 weeks before a pay-per-view in Canada. Are we rematching again there? And for what? Redemption for who? Oh, God. I genuinely feel they pulled the trigger tonight to try and take some thunder away from CM Punk winning the WWE Championship on Monday Night Raw. And when you book to one-up the other show, you end up looking stupid because none of this is good. And before I even got the chance to record this and grill him, someone else did it for me, and I'm going to read it for you because I think it's hilarious. Kenshin Rel, I agree with you. This is a doubling down take for this part of it. JD from New York, step into my office again. You've been caught being dishonest, so let's talk about it. Calling Omega versus Ospreay a weird fetish ignores months of promos, segments, and callbacks, years of history between them, Omega's redemption story proving he can still be that guy again, and Ospreay's chase to the top. Meanwhile, CM Punk lost at WrestleMania, disappeared for 3 months, came back and almost immediately won the championship with zero buildup. But AEW is a company booking out of nowhere to steal thunder. You can dislike MJF for losing, but pretending Omega and Ospreay was just thrown together because Punk won a belt is just nonsense. Yes, I agree. 1,000%. JD from New York. You are the clown from New York for a reason. That's why I call you that, because your takes are just awful. You have the secret vendetta deep down in your soul against AEW because FTR got you kicked out of some after party that you had no business being at. You had some bullshit happen with Mercedes that was rightfully getting you booted from House of Glory commentary for a bit, and you're just a salty piece of shit. That's the best way to put it. And for all of those reasons, you are the other half of this video's DDT. That's all I had on this episode of Screw Script. Let me know down below what you thought about Beach Break. What do you think is going to happen at All In Wembley now, with it being Ospreay and Omega? Do you think Ospreay beats Omega? Do you think Omega retains and we see Ospreay go through this, this thing that kind of Hangman went through a couple years back where he came up too short, just a little short. And let me know some other predictions for some matches for All In Wembley. As always, this has been Maverick with Screw Script. Thanks for watching.